You ever read a line in a book that just completely stops you in your tracks? Well, today we're jumping headfirst into one of those moments from the book of Revelation. It's a prophecy about a final, world illuminating event. Our mission? To decode this mystery piece by piece. All right, let's get into it. Our investigation kicks off right here with this absolutely incredible image from Revelation 18. A mighty angel comes down from heaven, and get this, the entire earth is lightened from his glory. I mean, what a stunning vision, right? But it immediately makes you ask the question, what is this glory? Exactly. What are we actually talking about here? Is it a literal blinding light, a sudden explosion of knowledge, or maybe something deeper, a profound spiritual event? Well, it turns out the answer isn't just lying on the surface. It's hidden, tucked away in the symbolic language of the Bible. So, to find that answer, we've got to look at the symbolism of the heavenly sanctuary. In Scripture, it's often described as a kind of blueprint for spiritual development, and it's inside this divine blueprint that we find our first big clue. And that clue is the number 7. Seriously, this number shows up constantly in the sanctuary's imagery and all throughout the book of Revelation. Understanding what it represents is absolutely key to cracking this whole thing open. So what is the deal with the number 7? Well, as you can see, we've got the 7 lamps on the lampstand, the 7 spirits of God, the 7 assemblies or church eras. The idea here isn't that there are literally 7 of everything. Instead, the number itself is a powerful symbol of divine perfection and completeness. Think of it as an echo of the 7 days of creation. And that brings us to a really crucial point. The whole purpose of the sanctuary's work, from this perspective, is to cultivate and perfect a divine character, this perfect holiness. The ultimate goal is for this perfected character to finally shine out from God's people, becoming the very light or glory that lights up the world. But how does that connect back to our angel? Okay, get ready, because this is the big aha moment. This is where we find what looks a lot like a prophetic code. The theory is that there's a direct, kind of hidden connection between the messages of 4 specific angels in Revelation and the first 4 of the 10 Commandments. This table just lays out the pattern perfectly. Think about it. The first 4 commandments are all about how to worship God, and the 4 angels' messages seem to be these powerful proclamations about those exact same ideas. The first angel calls us to worship the Creator. That's the object of worship. The second warns against false systems of worship, the wrong method. The third warns about taking a false mark or name, dishonoring the character of worship. And that, of course, leads us to the final crucial connection. So if this pattern holds true, then the 4th angel's message, the one that fills the entire earth with glory, it must correspond to the 4th commandment, the Sabbath. But this is about so much more than just a day of the week. It's about what that day represents, the grand finale, the culmination of the other 3 principles. This interpretation sees the Sabbath as a seal. Think about it like this. Back in the ancient world, an official seal on a law was what made it legit. It had to have 3 things: the ruler's name, their title, and their territory or domain. Well, this view argues the 4th commandment does exactly that. And here is how it all clicks together. The 4th commandment says, "For in 6 days Jehovah made the heavens and the earth." Just look at what's packed in there. It has the name, Jehovah, tying it right back to the 3rd commandment. It has the title, made, or creator, linking it to the 2nd. And it has the territory, the heavens and the earth, connecting it to the 1st. It's the one commandment that actually contains and seals all the others. And just like that, we have our answer. That mysterious glory that lights up the whole world is the full understanding and proclamation of this Sabbath truth. This idea that it represents the entirety of God's character as creator and lawgiver, all sealed up in one powerful principle. Now, to really get a grip on how important this Sabbath seal is, we have to look at its direct opposite described in Revelation, the infamous mark of the beast. These 2 are presented as completely competing systems of worship. This slide really brings that contrast into sharp focus. The seal is tied to the number 7, perfection and divine rest in God's finished work. The mark, on the other hand, is tied to 666, which is interpreted here as the number of humanity's endless work, always striving but always falling short. One represents finding rest in God's character, the other represents having no rest in a system based on human works, with Sunday worship identified as its sign.
So, after all this complex symbolism and decoding, what's the ultimate point? What does it all mean? Well, this final message isn't just about winning a theological debate, it's about something way more profound.
This quote really just gets right to the heart of it. The final message, that incredible glory that lights up the whole world, is ultimately a revelation of God's character of love. All the signs, the seals, the symbols, they're all supposed to point directly to this one thing. And that, right there, is the ultimate takeaway. The glory isn't the doctrine itself, but the result of it. The light that fills the world is people, through their own lives, showing God's loving and righteous character for everyone to see. It's a truth that's meant to be lived out. And that brings us to a final thought to chew on. If the culmination of all this prophecy is a global revelation of character, what does that tell us about the real purpose of worship? Is it an act that we perform, or is it a character that we become? Something to think about. Thanks so much for joining me.